Okay folks, and welcome back. It's the 9th of October and a lot of sport on in town today, and the one we're interested in is the first race of the 18-foot skiff season. Mark Hurley, welcome back, mate. You've been chasing a bit of carbon of a different type over in Europe. I've been watching you, but this is 18-foot skiff carbon, and the rules in this sport is it's 18 foot long and the race will start at 2:30, and there you go. Spot on cue. This all really is just the start. Today it's all about getting the dust out of your crew, dust out of your boat, and looking at the boats in the park. They're all got two different minds about what they're wearing. They've got some big rigs, some second rigs. It's swear blind they're going into a major championship. You reckon they'd all go together, I would have thought. I mean, take it easy, get home, rig in one piece and think about it.
Shows a lot of commitment, the very fact they're out racing, and the quarterfinals of the Rugby World Cup starts in not much more than an hour. I don't know where you're watching us from, but we're here in Sydney, and Sydney obviously has a great interest in what happens in the Rugby World Cup quarterfinals over in Auckland. So these guys may or may not finish in time for that, but you're right, different crews today. It's a beginning of a new season, but as you were mentioning before, Bob, there's a lot of new combinations of crews today, but it doesn't really matter what happens today result-wise, and the most important thing I think is people get back into the swing of it, back into 80-foot skiff racing, and thank heavens it started again. It seems like a long time since we signed off for the JJ, the end of last season. Thank heavens it's back and it's beginning again. And
all we need to just amp everything up for ourselves is to get a good season away with some nice breezes. We've got a good solid sou'wester out there. We're probably going to be on a course 6. We're getting out there shortly, and yeah, this rain has come over Bathurst where the V8 supercars are running. So
that's happening right now as well, isn't it?
Right at this moment. Yeah.
And Bathurst, for people that live in Australia, Bob, there's a quick description of that.
It's the Bathurst 1000, an iconic race that happens up on Mount Panorama.
Car racing, endurance.
Yeah, V8 supercars, Ford versus Holden. It's a cracker, and
Australian version of Le Mans, effectively.
Yeah.
Bit rougher, a lot more hamburgers, more gold chains.
So we've got V8 supercars live. We've got 18-footers starting shortly, and we've got the Wallabies tonight. You've died and gone to heaven, mate.
Fantastic.
Let's get out on the water and see if we can get some action from the Camera Cat today. See you out there. Okay folks, we're out on the water for the first race of the 2011-12 season, and it's quite gusty, up and down in range, but I think, Marky Hurley, we've got 15 knots, but there's big holes in it, isn't there? And we've got some of the boats on big sails and small sails. So what would you rather have on your boat right now?
Oh, definitely small rig, Bob. It's puffy, that's for sure. So dusty and rusty will be the two words today, I would say.
You're right.
Expect lots of swimmers, expect lots of ugliness on the boat handling, because it's a full 6 months really since these guys were racing these boats at that very top level. One or two in the meantime have been racing in San Fran, as we know. We'll talk about that maybe a bit later on, but most of these guys really barely know which of the front is the front of the boat and which is the back, and I think we're about to see that as they try and cross the start line in about 3 and a bit minutes time.
Okay, Mark Hurley, what's your podium? It's full rust on everybody today, and you, so who are you going with?
My rusty and dusty pick is Michael Coxon, because he's been sailing in San Francisco, so he's less dusty than the rest, and I'm going to go with Smeg. They're never rusty, even though they've got a red coloured boat, and my third pick's going to be Archie Massey on the Red Claw boat, because he's just recently finished doing the 14 Worlds, which he won yet again in Weymouth, UK. So I'm going for the least of the dusty competitors.
Good on you.
What about you, Bob?
Well, I'm going to go for a roughie in the Appliances Online. Mick Lane stepped up to sail that boat, a whole new team of pirates, and I think they're going to have a pretty fun season. So I'm going with Appliances Online. I'm going for Woody, because he's done the circuit overseas, did quite well, and I'm going for Smeg.
So none of us have chosen 7. Why is that?
Got a small sail, and not putting any doubts about Scotty Babbage's skill, but Scott's steering it today. Sevi Jarvin's in the bow, so they're all over the shop, and I think they're going to be underpowered.
And no Sam Newton, which is never a good thing, is it, when you're on the 7 boat? So we'll see what happens. But right now, plenty of people already upside down. Never a great way to start a skiff race. We've got a capsizer down at the pin end. It looks like a short line here, Bob, as well. Could be a little hectic on the start line.
And it's going to be a tough course. So Gary Lineker has got him on a course 6, which is 4 Windward Lewards, starting here off past Steel Point and going straight up into towards the CBD. So this race is going to be over in a heartbeat. The downhill part of this race will happen very quickly. Whoever can get around their three-boy handicap marks up there, this is a three-boy race, don't forget, we'll show you more about that up the top end of the course, but whoever gets around first and has a spinnaker up the marsh, they will clear out, I'll bet you.
Coming up for 1 minute and about 10 seconds there, Bob. They're lining up already, aren't they?
They are.
So on the three-boy, just explain the three-boy thing again, Bob. It's early in the season. How does it work?
Well, it's a handicap race which gets underway with a scratch start, so the handicaps unwind as the race goes on. There are 3 turning marks up at the top end of this course, and depending on what handicap you are on, if you're on scratch you go the furthest distance, if you're mid-handicap you go the middle mark, and if you're on a long handicap you go to the shortest mark. So I'm thinking a boat like Appliances Online, or even the Kitchen Maker, or somebody like that gets around on their advantage, the mark turning might just clear out in this race, Mark, but a lot to happen yet. But anyway, they had to get them underway. Quite a few boats already in the tide. Johnny Winning set up nicely there, Mark. Short line, Appliances Online coming in.
20 seconds to go, maybe 15. Appliance Online, one of your picks, and there's 7 with Scott Babbage steering, as you said, and Sevi Javin at the front. Very unusual position for him to be at the front, but probably good learning for him. Just in, so there's Smeg, another of my picks, and there's Archie Massey, the boat to Windward, looking like he's timed his start with 5 seconds to go perfectly. Archie Massey's going to win this start. That's the Mojo Wine boat, was Red Claw, now called Mojo, and there's Pure Blonde making a complete hash of a Portac start. They're going to have to tack, having not managed to lay that. That's pretty ugly. Not what you want to do. So Pure Blonde, not the smartest move, and in the middle of the line, Smeg have had to tack away. It's a small fleet, Bob, isn't it? Many less boats than we're used to. That's because we've got a few swimmers still. But the leader of that group is the most Windward boat without the branding on it. That's Archie Massey, Dan Wilson, sailing on the Mojo Wine boat. And there goes 7 tacking away, out of trouble. Plenty of fresh stuff. I'd say at the moment, Bob, you'd want to be on a small rig.
Yeah, I think so. And looking at Pure Blonde's approach to that line, that was full of rust, Mark. So we're just going to poke up and up towards these marks and just see what happens in these first couple of crosses. But Appliances Online, Archie Massey, Coco, Johnny Winning are in the hunt at this stage. Come back to you then. We're on the hip of Appliances Online. Mick Lane and Tommy Anderson's in the bow of that boat, and really strong looking sheet hand for mine. And this is a key cross here, and gotta love it. Scotty Babbage has just come through on starboard, so the little rig's going quite nicely, and just remains to be seen, Mark, how Archie goes over there. He sailed in underneath that headland of Bradley's, though, I think, mate. He's just a little bit unsettled at the moment.
Yeah, a little bit, but pretty good condition. He was just across 7, so the leader on the water is marginally Archie on Mojo Wine. Pretty close, so with Coco just a small duck. They're really bow to bow, their first equal. Very slightly ahead of 7, who's very slightly ahead of Appliances Online. And it's all the boats we're used to talking about in a JJ here, Bob, wasn't it?
Yes, it is.
Interesting enough, I just saw on the first tack they made back there, both Mojo Wine, that's Archie, and Coco both did really, really good tacks. Kind of tacks that we're used to seeing halfway through a JJ series, whereas some of the other boats, including 7, making very poor tacks. That's partly crew changes, partly they just haven't got themselves quite back into the rhythm of this. We're going to see a lot of that today, I think.
I think you will. A lot of sailing to be done yet, so buckle up and we'll get you up towards those top marks and see who gets around the handicap boy first. Okay folks, we've arrived at our 3 turn marks here just off Garden Island, and a large white cruise ship Captain Cook boat is just done a little pirouette here and is heading across to the exact transit that our fast approaching 18s are going to hit these marks. So we'll just put that down as a little bit of a feature of what might be coming up here. Hopefully not, but Mark, these marks are pretty well placed. They look pretty fair. And who do you think is going to get round a turn mark? I think it's looking good for
Woody at the moment. Yeah, Yand, if you look round to the left there, Simon, you'll see our leaders coming up behind us. There is Yandu, and that little noise you heard, that was the very ferry that's charging right through our race course, blowing his horn, telling us that he's turning to port. But what really matters to us is he's right in the middle of our 3 marks. Of all the places he could have chosen, he's chosen the worst place. Anyway, our sailors will have to just manage their way around that, so I'm sure they'll do. But on the water, our leader is John Winning, who's got a very nice left shift, stay to the left of the beat at the end of that first leg. So he is leading, but he can't go around the buoy on his bow. That's the blue one.
Well, he does. In fact, he does go around.
I thought he was
on 1 minute. He takes that blue mark the first time.
He's on 1. You're right. So he will be first round. And Archie Massey, who's the boat to the left of him, tacking on to port, he's got to go around the same mark.
Woody just got a big back puff off that Captain Cook ferry there that unsettled him.
So it's really the kitchen maker, though, looking back to the left there, Simon, is going to go around the red mark, I think, here. So he's going to be first round. The handicap system opens it all up, doesn't it, nicely?
It does.
So that's Woody goes round the red, the blue.
On the racetrack, the kitchen maker has got his nose in front. So that's how it works, folks. Three-boy, handicap racing. The leader on the racetrack is the kitchen maker. That's Cameron McDonald. Steering that boat this year. That's last year's project Andy Budgeon's boat, the Smiling Assassin. It's sold up out of the 18-footer fleet, full moth sailor now. And Woody is rolling over the top of Brett Van Munster, no name on that boat. So that's our race, folks. And Woody's putting them to the sword pretty quickly down here. Okay, so this is the scrap for first place. Kitchen maker just got his nose in front. Woody and Hop the Chute now mark. The jibe angles to this bottom mark are critical here. It's puffy, the breeze is coming from different sides, so who's going to have a crack at this first? Looks like kitchen maker and so they're both going together.
Simultaneous, as you'd expect. Cameron McDonald, normally just the middle of a skiff. He's at the back of the boat today. That's not a bad jibe for him. We wouldn't have done too many of them on the tiller of a skiff, but a little bit low on his exit angle. Woody's a much nicer angle on his way out, and it looked like he's rolled him already. But puffy day, directional changes in the wind and velocity changes never makes it easy, that's for sure. Two back markers, the two Windward boats you can see coming through us here, so let's not worry about them too much. Our leader is now Yandu. Tom, as you would predict, the more expert helmsman there did a really nice job of the drive. Whereas up to Windward, can you see through the gap there, Simon, further beyond these two boats, I can see two boats tearing down there. That looks like Archie Massey and Appliance Online. I'd say, Bob, with a whole load more wind up there.
Yeah, they have, and that's what's going on out here, folks. It's classic southwesterly, sort of got a bit of a winter feel about it, although it's not that cold, but it's got the sky that gives it that appearance. So this is going to be an interesting race. Don't forget, they've got to go up and down 4 times, so that will complete lap 1. And the next time John Winnie goes up to those turn marks, he'll be going around the furthest mark because he is on 1 minute. And so he's got to go to that white mark, the furthest mark. So that could break the whole race up again. And that's what happens in 3-boy. You get a lot of different lead changes. And it gets very interesting towards the end of the race. So that's where we're at. We're approaching the bottom marks. We'll come back to you shortly.